Hello and welcome to Abilities United Presents Community Connections, a program dedicated to those individuals living with a developmental or physical challenge. I'm Andrea Thronson, Community Connections Developer. Tonight we have a very exciting program. Our theme is education and working in the community. We have several very interesting guests and 2 field shoots that will show what type of volunteer work we do in the community. With me now is the Mayor of Palo Alto, Sid Espinosa. Welcome, Mayor.
Thank you, Andrea, for having me.
Sure. Well, volunteering is such an important part of the community. Could you tell me a little bit about the history of volunteering in Palo Alto?
Absolutely. Well, it goes back to really the founding of the city, when you first saw the community coming together, and of course it has at its base a history with Stanford. You had a focus on education, on engaging in the community. You had people coming together to think about what this community would look like, and you had particular individuals like Lucy Stern, and we now have the Lucy Stern Community Center and other facilities around town, taking the extra time to really think about what it means to form community, to build a sense of community among citizens, and a lot of that came back to volunteerism. People weren't getting paid for this, but they realized that this builds the fabric of any community. And so really when you look through the years, through the decades, you see thousands and thousands of Palo Altans volunteering in all different sorts of ways within the community. It's what's made us so strong as a city.
Interesting. So what's been the history of disabled individuals volunteering in the community? Has that been a small portion, or what's the history there?
Well, I think it mirrors in some way the history within the country, really, of how our communities have thought about the disabled community. As you know, that there have been some dark periods in that history where often these communities were kept separate from the rest of society, or separate from schooling programs and other things. And now there's really an understanding that all segments of the community should be engaged in civic life and in activities and in work and education. And here in Palo Alto, you've seen that transition now over time. Of course, your show today is highlighting Abilities United, a fantastic partner for the city and for the whole community here. When you look across this community, you see volunteers from Abilities United out working with the homeless community at the Opportunity Center, working in the office there, preparing meals. You see them working with the elderly community, and we have a quickly growing elderly community across the city. Folks are saying they don't want to retire and move away, they want to stay here, and we know that population is going to increase. So what a wonderful opportunity to bring members of the disabled community together with seniors. They're preparing food, just meeting with them, giving cards, those sorts of things. One of my favorites is over at the Junior Museum and Zoo. The preparation of the food for the animals is all done by volunteers with Abilities United. I could go on. There are great programs. We could not get all the work done of the city without volunteers, period. There's too much going on, and frankly, all city governments have had to scale back and scale back. Palo Alto is no exception. So with a limited number of staff, but the same amount of work, we absolutely rely on volunteers to get the work done. And so thankful that folks within the disabled community have come forward and have engaged in volunteerism across the city.
Right. Well, as you just mentioned, our work over at the Palo Alto Zoo, you know, when you think about it, we go in there every week and we cut the food, we help prepare the diets. So not only are we helping with the volunteer work, we're learning. We're learning about what's a nutritional diet for the animals, you know, how to interact with the rest of the zoo staff, you know, and it's just a beneficial win-win situation for everyone. And it's neat how we've come into different organizations and they say, we can't do without you guys. You've really, you know, made a big impact on all of us.
It's absolutely true. And again, I want to go back to that history. Unfortunately, in this country and some places still around the world, there was and there remains a perception that there isn't the ability, frankly, to have full engagement, that the jobs can't be had, that an education level can't be obtained, etc., by folks with disabilities. And we've proven in the city again and again that that's just not true, and volunteerism brings that to the forefront every day. We see people with disabilities engaging in all sorts of work with all sorts of organizations all across the city, all different age groups, all different demographics, all different levels of difficulty, and succeeding and really excelling and being a critical partner for the community and for the city.
It seems like volunteering is a real equalizer because everybody can help. And everybody can have that sense of giving back to the community. And I think that's one of the things our participants have learned is that they feel so valuable, like they're making a difference. And what it feels like, you know, as the mayor of Palo Alto, you need citizens that are really bought into the city, that really feel empowered and want to make it better. And that's what our participants are learning to do, is to have a piece of ownership in the community, and why I think that it is so beneficial.
I know one of the things that we were looking at when we first got on the council, a bunch of us were looking at creating a council of nonprofits, and it's something that we're still exploring. And I went to the city and I said, how many nonprofits are operating in town? Do we have that information already? Folks said, we don't know. We don't know right now how many nonprofits are here, but we have a sense of family services because they connect with our Family Resources Center. Right. There are lots of nonprofits this would not include. There are lots of others, but they said just Family Resources, we have a list of 500 nonprofits operating within the city of Palo Alto.
Wow.
That just highlights the needs that we have in this community. All of those nonprofits are operating because people are in need and people have stepped forward to provide those services. Well, most nonprofits are scraping by. They're just barely able to get the work done. And they rely on volunteers every day. Thankfully, you have organizations like Abilities United that come forward and say, we're going to organize those volunteers. We'll get them out to these different organizations. We'll partner with the city when their city department needs. It's absolutely critical. All of these organizations, the city, all of our departments would not be able to operate without that partnership.
Right. Well, it also makes our agency not, you know, instead of having needs, we fulfill needs. So we're going out and giving back to society rather than needing to take from society. And I think that that's how we can move our community of Palo Alto forward, is moving us forward with meeting those needs and so forth. So
some people just don't know how to connect. They don't know how to get out there and find out about volunteerism or engage. But the bottom line is, in this community, there's been a long history of that being part of our ethic, part of our culture, and we're better for it. And so I hope that people will see this program, not just realize that there are people with disabilities that are engaging in all sorts of work and helping this community grow. Of course we want them to take away that lesson, but hopefully they get a little inspired by the stories you're going to hear today. And I had the great opportunity of connecting with Julie and Nick, who folks are going to meet with in a little while, and hopefully they get inspired by them and realize I should be going out into the community and engaging and volunteering and doing things that maybe I have always wanted to do but never really found the time, and they get that inspiration to go and take that extra step.
Right. So just as your last few words, what would you say to inspire people to come out and volunteer?
Well, if none of what we've talked about so far gets you out of your seat, let me just put out the selfish notion that you're going to feel great after you volunteer.
Right.
Period.
Right.
You get out there and you help somebody else in need, you're going to drive home smiling and feeling good about yourself. So if you don't want to do it because the community needs it, if you don't want to do it because you're hearing about people out there in need and you want to go help them, do it for a selfish reason.
Because it feels good.
Do it because it's going to feel good and it's going to put a smile on your face. And know that through that exercise, you're going to end up with a community that's better off for it.
Right, and I think that's what our participants have learned. So, wonderful. Speaking of all of our volunteer sites, we've got a video from Foothill Park that will show what types of work that we do. So let's have a look.
The Abilities United folks come here to clean our interpretive center, and they do things that keep it looking nice, that the park visitors come here count on this place looking good, and they do a great job of maintaining that for us. We couldn't do it without them, and I look forward to them coming every other week to do those sorts of things here, because we can't always get to it. They are critical for keeping fingerprints off the glass doors and windows that we've got here that are very visible, and it's something we don't like to see. They also dust mop the place and sweep the sidewalks and do a great job just tidying the place up, dusting. Dust is a big thing here too. So they do a lot of great jobs for us.
When the participants volunteer, they're able to get a sense of their accomplishments and that they're able to work hard and be able to do things that people thought that they couldn't.
The participants get a sense of belonging to the community that is enhanced that much more, and the community gets to see the participants and appreciate them that much more.
I'm always happy to work with clients like from Abilities United because they are so giving and fun, and they like to work, and I really appreciate that, and I'm glad to help give them a job.
When I work with a group, I feel that I have a much better life, and I realize that I'm blessed to be working with people that have such different perspectives and that have such a sense of compassion for the little things in life.
I did a good deed, very good deed.
I like to show them some of the things that happen around here or are living here or are growing here. We have lots of great native plants, and there's also some non-natives that we can tell them about too. You know, there's dandelions are not native, but they're a pretty yellow flower. Some of them smell good, some of them feel weird, some of them feel nice. So it's really good to just let them experience those sorts of things too.
Hope I come back and do it again.
Oh, I always get so inspired when I see our work out in the community. It really is wonderful to see how productive we are and how much we are giving back to the community of Palo Alto. So with me now is Julie Paulson. She is an independent living skills participant at Abilities United. So welcome, Julie.
Thank you.
So Julie, let's start at the beginning. Can you give me a little bit of your background, where you went to school and where you grew up?
I actually went to Palo Alto High School.
Oh, okay.
And I grew up in Los Altos.
In Los Altos. What year did you graduate from Palo Alto?
I think it was like 2001.
2001, okay. So you are so active in the community. Tell me a little bit about what you do in the community.
I actually hang out with my friends. I actually go swimming, horseback riding, and hang out at the mall, and just basically I'm out there making friends.
So that's kind of what you do in your spare time, right?
Yes.
That's kind of your interest outside of work and stuff. But you have a job and volunteer work. Tell me a little bit about what you do for employment.
I actually work at the Safeway Milpitas grocery store. I am a courtesy clerk. I do bagging, and I also do carts.
Wow, and how long have you worked there?
For 2.5 years.
2.5 years, that's great. And what's your favorite part of the job?
My favorite part of the job is to actually get to know new people and see what their background is, because I just like being around with people.
So you're a real people person,
Yes,
huh?
I am.
Yeah. So was the job difficult for you to learn, or did you just fly into it and it was no problem?
I actually fly into it and there's no problem.
Wow, because I've heard you've done just a fantastic job. I've heard that the manager doesn't even, once you've been offered jobs at other stores, but he wants to keep you right at that store because you're so good.
Yes.
Is that true?
Yes, it is true.
Oh, and in this economy, to have such a secure job, that's phenomenal.
Yes, it is.
Are you proud of yourself?
Yes, I am.
Yeah. And how does it feel to earn a paycheck?
It feels great. It feels like I'm actually learning how to budget my own money and put it in the bank.
So you're doing some saving as well?
Yes, I am.
And where are you learning those skills? How?
I'm learning those skills from Abilities United. My IELTS instructor is Mary Brown from AU. She helps me to go to the bank and deposit my paychecks.
Oh, great. So you're getting your finances, really getting them down.
Yes, I am.
And then how did you get the job? What was that process like?
Actually, the AU actually helped me to get the job from the Safeway.
So did you go through an interview process?
Basically, I think I actually went to the interview process.
So you had an interview and you had to dress up and answer questions and
Yes.
all of that. And then do you have, in your job, do you have performance reviews? And,
Yes, I do.
oh my goodness, so it's quite an intense job.
Yes, it is, but I'm willing to work for it.
Have you done pretty well?
Yes, I have.
That's great. And how does it, what's your goal in the future as far as that?
I'm hoping to work in Delhi.
Oh, okay. Is that a step up? Is that?
Yes, it is.
So you would be making sandwiches and putting party trays together? And
Yes.
with Safeway?
Yes.
Okay. So now that's your employment side. What do you do volunteer-wise?
For volunteer-wise, I actually I volunteer at Jim Beal's Assemblyman in his office doing office work.
Wow, Assemblyman Jim Beal.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
And there's other stuff that I do is I'm also going to be a counselor at Via West at the camp that I go to with my peers.
Oh my goodness. So where do you find time to do all of this?
Basically on my spare time when I'm like off work.
Okay. What got you interested in politics?
I just think that politics is a great idea for me to go out there and actually do something. I also do volunteer at the Blind Center.
Wow.
And also at AU when I actually work at the sidewalk for the wheelchair path.
Oh my goodness. So Julie, what makes you so just so inspired? I mean, where do you get your inspiration to go help so many people?
I get my inspiration from other people by showing what they can do, what I can do for myself.
Because you've never, you don't feel sorry for yourself. You just go out there and you make your life work. Yes. So what advice would you give to someone who's kind of struggling?
I'll say, just do the best that you can and just actually go for it and just do everything that you say your mind to.
Okay, that's pretty good advice. Do you have times when you get discouraged or?
No, I don't.
You're a pretty upbeat person?
Yes, I am.
And do you find that that attitude kind of spills over to other people?
Yes.
Because people like to be around you?
Yes, I do.
Yeah? And how about your family? Do you get a lot of support from them?
Yes, I do. I got lots of support from my family, with my mom, with the AU, and also from the other, from the outside, with my friends.
So that's a really important network for you.
Yes, it is.
So you're a very, very well-balanced person. Yeah?
Yes.
So is there anything else that you would like to say to really inspire people and get them motivated to get out there?
I suggest that you guys should go. I suggest you guys like find a way to actually do something for your life. Do something for your life, and actually just do the best that you can.
Do the best that you can. Yeah. Where do you want to be in 5 years from now? Do you have any goals?
From like 5 years ago, I like to make a family for myself and provide for them too.
Wow. So you want to be a mom?
Yes.
Wow, that's a great goal as well. So you're still very young, so you've got plenty of time, right?
Yes, I do.
Well, you're just very much a big inspiration, and I'm just really impressed with all that you have done in your life. So, and you would encourage people to volunteer?
Yes.
That giving back feels good?
Yes.
How do you feel at the end of the day?
I actually feel so important. It feels like I feel great to help people.
Yeah, it makes a difference in people's lives, huh?
It sure does.
And it's important to know that everybody can make a difference.
Yes.
Yeah, that's great. Well, wonderful. It's been great to get to know you a little bit. So what we're going to do now is we have another field shoot at Hiller Aviation Museum where our volunteers go every Friday. So let's take a look and see what they do.
We've been associated with your group for about 6 months now, since about the beginning of this year. And we have visits from your group once a week on Friday afternoons.
I like it. I like our working outing. I like to wash windows.
They are very helpful in our buildings and grounds and maintenance activities. What they do is they help clean up things. They're very good at cleaning and wiping tables and chairs and exhibits, and they do a lot of dusting. They do a lot of trash pickup. They've been very helpful in the gardening. They're really good at weeding, and they're very productive.
It's very nice because I get to see the smiles on their faces, to see them being accepted into the community and get to really interact with the community in the various job sites that we go to and really feel a part of their work and what they're doing.
It's a real value added to have the Abilities United group here. Not only do we get a little bit of work each week, but we also get the advantage of having a little bit more of our outreach into the community, and I think it's a very good mix.
I like to help out, and I like to help out people.
I would say that probably the greatest change in our organization is just a little greater understanding and tolerance for folks that are different from us.
Working with the participants, in my experience, has changed me in a very positive way. I've really learned a lot about appreciation of life and how to take things, not for granted.
They're also delightful. They're fun people, and they seem to enjoy being here, and it's always nice to see a smile and somebody who really wants to be here. That just makes it feel better.
Being a pilot in training and coming here and working at the Hiller Aviation Museum is really great for me because I really get to engulf the guys in a lot of aeronautical knowledge. They're very intrigued in how the airplane works and all the different systems and everything that goes through it. So it's very fun for me to be able to explain to the guys about the airplanes and about the atmosphere and really get to talk with a lot of the people that work here at the Hiller Aviation Museum. We talk all about, weather and air safety, how the plane actually works, talk about the aerodynamics and how lift works and stuff of that sort. And the guys really get interested in it.
I feel good when I'm walking.
Oh, I love that site. The Hiller Aviation Museum is such a fun place to work. We've also learned a lot at the Hiller Aviation Museum about flying and so forth, so it's really fun to go see our participants and see how active they are. Plus, they keep the place looking really nice, so that's fun to see. With me now is Mr. Nicholas Golick.
Hi.
Nick is an independent living skills participant at Abilities United, as well as employment services. Right, Nick?
Right.
Welcome.
Thank you.
So let's talk a little bit too, like I spoke with Julie, what's your history? Where did you grow up and where did you go to school?
Well, I grew up in Palo Alto, California.
Okay.
And it very inspires me.
It inspires you, Palo Alto?
Yes.
What about Palo Alto inspires you?
Palo Alto makes me happy because Palo Alto is a great town because I live there.
You like where you live?
Yes.
Yeah? So did you go to Palo Alto High School?
Yes.
And what was some of the excitement and the fun at Palo Alto High School?
Well, it's swimming, diving, and I used to play sports.
Okay, and you've done a lot with Special Olympics too,
Yes.
right? Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, I've been in track.
In track, so you run?
I run so fast. And I've been swimming and golfing.
All with the Special Olympics?
Yes, all different coaches.
Oh my gosh, what's your favorite?
It's the golfing.
Is the golfing? Are you a pretty good golfer?
Yes.
And who have you met during the Special Olympics? Some good friends?
Yes, I have.
Do you keep in contact with them?
Yes, I do.
All right, so that's a good way for you to connect, right?
Yes, that's right.
Good. So tell me a little bit about where you work.
Well, I work in Safeway in Milo Park.
So you, like Julie, work at Safeway. What do you do?
Well, I'm a courtesy clerk.
A courtesy clerk,
I
okay.
bag, I help customers in their cars, and I said, have a nice day.
Good, so you do about the same thing that Julie does.
Well, yes, I do.
That's a very impressive job.
Well, it is.
And you like working with the people?
People are my family, but yes, I work for them.
Okay. And I know one of your hobbies is art. You're an excellent artist.
Yes.
So let's go ahead and let's show one of the art pieces. All right, so that's a cactus, right?
Yes, it is.
Oh, that's gorgeous. So did you see the cactus somewhere? Or?
Yes, I have in Phoenix, Arizona.
So when you were traveling there, you saw the cactus, and then did you paint the picture while you were looking at the cactus, or did you just take a mental picture?
I just took a mental picture.
So you could go home after your vacation and remember the cactus and then paint it that well?
Yes.
Wow, that's a real gift.
Well, it is a big gift.
Yeah. And where do you come up with the color scheme?
Well, in my head, I just know about green and orange.
Oh, you like those colors?
Yes.
That is beautiful. Let's show the second painting that you've done.
Okay.
How many paintings would you say you've done?
Let's try 10 paintings.
Okay. So you're pretty prolific at painting.
Maybe 20.
All right.
Now this is from Phoenix.
That's another one from Phoenix, huh?
Yes.
And you saw the dark sky in the background?
Yes, I saw the dark sky outside in Phoenix.
Okay. And then you just mentally took a picture, went home, and then could produce such a magnificent painting.
Yes, I have.
Wow. How long would something like that take you?
Maybe 15 and 5 minutes to paint.
Wow. So you're speedy.
Well, yes, I am a speed guy.
Yeah. And have you sold some of your paintings?
Yes.
Wow. So you're actually a professional artist.
Well, thank you.
That's impressive. So Nick, what would you tell other people to inspire them?
Well, I know some people from here, and they are best directors in the cameras.
Okay, so what would you, you just encourage people to follow kind of their passion? And
Well, yes, I used to take drama.
Okay.
I'm an actor.
So you've done a lot of everything.
Yeah, I like to act.
Good. Well, it's wonderful. You are incredibly talented, and your sense of color is just phenomenal.
Thank you.
So thank you, Nick. I want to thank you for being on the...
And you too, Mrs. Thorson.
You're welcome. As we've seen today, there's no end to the productivity of some of our Abilities United participants. It's so wonderful to connect with the community and, as Mayor Espinosa said, really bridge all generations, all people, and see how productive we can be. It's really important for people to give back to the community. So thank you for joining us at Abilities United Community Connections.